The Women's World Circuit Racing is about to get underway for its second race of the weekend here at Donington Park. Conditions are cooler than yesterday and the atmosphere is through the roof. Welcome to Donington Park, and race 2 is about to get underway. Yeah, well, 12 laps ahead of us. Let's head down to the grid and join alongside Matt and Shaky.
You know, maybe a little bit of geometry, but yeah, it gives them all the opportunity to see how it's done, and then they go out in practice or in theory and put that practice to good use.
Yeah. Okay, well, as you can see, the championship now 18 points in favour of Maria Herrera after that victory yesterday. Let's find out then if she can make it a double here at Donington Park in the company of Steve English and Anthony Nelson.
Laps time, 50% of the 2025 FIM Women's Circuit Racing World Championship will have been completed. So far, the first 5 races have given us new race winners, new podium finishers, 5 tight race finishes, and a championship which is still wide open. But today's 48.2 kilometres around this Donington Park circuit will be crucial in determining where the momentum lies going into the second half of the campaign. A first double for Maria Herrera since the 2024 Mizana round would leave her with at least a 23-point lead in the standings, leaving an uphill battle for the riders like Beatrice Naylor and all of the most immediate pursuers. Any other result would add pressure on the number 6 going into Balloton in 2 weeks' time. Anthony Nelson and Steve English live trackside for race 2 of this Prosecco DOC UK round. And Steve, for the number 6 in particular, starting from the second row of the grid, it'll be important to get the front and important to try to break away, which was what she was unable to do yesterday.
Yeah, Donington's a place where you can break away. Think back to last year, Maria and Anna Carrasco had basically a race 2 battle just for themselves. They were 12 seconds clear of the field for quite a bit of the race. That could be the case today as well, but certainly what we saw yesterday was Chloe Jones on the number 15 bike, the orange bike. She's going to have a chance to be able to go with them at the front. Sarah Sanchez looks in good form. Beatrice Naylor, though, our pole sitter for this one, courtesy of our fastest lap in yesterday's race, she's going to be a contender all the way through as well. You'd expect those 4 riders to have a chance. And Lucy Boudicelle on the number 17 machine as well, from the middle of the second row of the grid. She'll be there or thereabouts. Roberta Ponziani is up there in the second row, having started from the back yesterday, so we'll see a little bit more representative times from her early in the race, and she could be a factor too.
Ponziani is perhaps the biggest question mark, because of course starting from 25th on the grid yesterday, it was always going to be an uphill battle for her going into that race, and she ended up finishing P10, but we don't really know quite what pace the Italian rider has here. She would be the big factor for Herrera to be able to contend with as well, and she's the one rider who could be able to help her get in between some of Herrera's main championship contenders.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got 6 riders in that group, Boudicelle has to make a step forward to be able to go with them, but she's up there in terms of the early laps to be able to give that chance. She's likely to be in that second group with the likes of Ralph and Howden. Howden actually had a really good performance yesterday on the number 52 machine to come away with a top 10 finish in 7th position. But for that second group, that's the battle they have. The lead group is about trying to get yourself and stay in that group. That's what Chloe Jones did really well yesterday, and then she wasn't willing to settle for being in that lead group. She wanted to make sure she had a chance to win, and I thought it was a super impressive performance from Chloe. She needs to back it up now.
It was extraordinarily impressive from herself, and I'm sure Maria Herrera as well, when she saw the number 15 in front of her.
Yeah, well, the tensions are rising now and the atmosphere is building. We're getting ready for our first race of the day then here for the afternoon. The WCR second race is under starters orders. Let's see what we can get again from Beatrix Naylor as we head down towards turn 1. Green flag at the back. Lights will come on, and race 2 of the World WCR Championship is under starters orders. Lights out, away we go. Good start from the second row, and immediately Maria Herrera is going to get into the lead of the race. Beatrix Naylor is going to try and block her down towards Redgate, but it is going to be Maria Herrera leading into Redgate. Round the outside comes Beatrix. She can't get her way through on the outside line. Good start, though, from several of the riders in this one as well. Chloe Jones still in 3rd position as they come through. Taylor Ralph up into 12th position. Mallory Dobbs up into 13th place as well as they come for the first time in towards the old hairpin. So good stuff so far as they ride up in towards the back half, in towards McLean's and Coppice. and it's a good start, and that was the best thing that was needed. We didn't want to have the situation where it would be drama-filled and, you know, red flag-filled. We needed it to be cool, calm, consistent, and just branching back to what we were having day in, day out. Maria Herrera leads this race. Beatrix Naylor in second position. Chloe Jones third. Sarah Sanchez is fourth. Lucy Budisville is in fifth. Roberta Ponzioni in sixth place. They come for the first time down in towards the chicane and the Fogarty S's, and everybody making it way through okay. It'll be 11 laps to go. Lucy Michael as well, passing with Mallory Dobbs. Dobbs going through, and Mallory has made her way up into 14th place at the Melbourne hairpin. So good move there as we head back in towards Goddard's and back to complete a lap time then here at Donington for the opening lap of the race. Cool, calm and consistent. That's exactly what we like to see as we head back to the world feed.
Into 7th position, just ahead of Jessica Howden now. So first lap of race 2 completed. Is Herrera who lead from Naylor, from Jones and from Sanchez. Just a second splitting those 4 riders. Jessica Howden tries to make a move into 6th position, to 7th position ahead of Avalon Lewis, but the rider from New Zealand holds on.
It's good to see this from Howden as well. She's always been fast in the WCR, but obviously a lot of crashes over the last few years. But the speed is there. Now she's got a chance to come away with 2 top 7 finishes. That would be a really good weekend.
She had her best result of the season so far. It was the only top 10 finish of the season for the rider from South Africa. Always a rider who's a bit spotty in terms of her performances. A lot of ups and downs from her, but she's clearly got the pace here today. We focus on that battle just behind, between 9th and 10th, between Ornella Ongaro and Natalia Rivera. It would be the first top 10 finish for Rivera if she finished in this position. I saw Naylor trying to make a move up the inside at Clopis from Herrera, but Herrera holds on, and this is the point of the track where the number 6 is particularly strong, or we've seen her be particularly strong all weekend. This was actually where she made the move for the race lead in race 1 yesterday. They go through the foggy S's once again. Ponziani and Budasol falling back ever so slightly in that battle for 5th position. Roberta Ponziani potentially being held up a little bit. She would need to get past the French rider as soon as possible to be able to contend with this leading quartet.
Yeah, for Ponziani on the 96 machine, teammate to Maria Herrera at the front, she probably has a bike that can overtake the rider in 5th. Lucy Budasel being faster than her all weekend in terms of her outright speed. So Budasel doing a good job to hold on to that 5th position.
Avalon Lewis drops 2 positions in this last sector to Jessica Howden and to Ornella Ongaro. She hadn't been feeling well all weekend, but has managed to be up and racing for both races so far in the United Kingdom. So the rider from New Zealand, the number 21 on your screen right now, down into 9th position. Fastest lap of the race for Sarah Sanchez in 4th place. It's quite often we see the rider in 4th place have the fastest pace amongst the leading group. It's the one thing to have that pace. When you've got a little bit of a gap in front of you, it's another thing to be able to contend and to be able to break away. That's what Herrera right now at the front of the field is not being able to do.
Yeah, Herrera at the front, just being kept very honest at this stage, and good to be able to see that. Obviously Beatrice Naylor this year has been really strong and consistent in every race, but Chloe Jones just keeping that watching brief. Sarah Sanchez, after the bad start, she's consolidated things, keeping herself in that 4th position, but right now everybody looks like they could attack and try and move to the front of the field. Beatrice Naylor in particular in that first half of the lap has done a good job.
Yeah, good stuff so far.
Herrera's interest to slow down the race a little bit more and bring some more riders into contention, particularly to battle with Naylor, because it still is a pretty small gap in a championship. Obviously it's a threat to Herrera herself to have more riders in contention there, but for example her teammate Roberta Ponziani, who's trying to close that gap, bridge that gap to the riders in front, the more riders who can be in there, the more that can challenge Naylor, as they did in race 1 yesterday.
In theory, but for Ponziani and Budasel, are they fast enough to bridge that gap and be involved? And maybe they are if the pace slows down enough, but certainly for Herrera, she's got 4 bikes up there in that lead group. Focus on that, because we've seen her outfox herself a few times trying to be tactical.
Now the fastest lap from Sarah Sanchez, 1:39.3, but all of that leading quartet in similar lap times. I think there might have been a mistake from Jessica Howden towards the Melbourne hairpin, because she has dropped from 7th position all the way down to 10th. Ornella Ongaro, the French rider, now promoted into 7th, with Lewis and Reeve ahead of the rider from South Africa, the number 52. We go back to our leading quartet here, still keeping their powder dry. We focus on Sarah Sanchez, who has had the pace the last 2 laps. Very close battle battle behind between Roberta Ponziani and Lucy Butasol. Lucy Butasol looking threatening the number 17 as we go through this second sector of the track, going around McLean's. And Chloe Jones has moved into second position ahead of Beatrice Naylor. That would have been that run down Starkeys and into McLean's. I wonder if we'll get a replay of that. But Chloe Jones, the number 15, now into second position.
Let's see if Beatrice is able to attack back into the S's or down into the loop. You can see here for the 96 of Ponziani, when she came through last time and she cut across on top of Butasol and then tapped the tail unit coming through the S's to tell her, stick with me and we'll make our progress. And for Butasol, she's done that up to now, but is the progress actually being made to be able to close up on those race leaders? They've already lost half a second on this lap.
Sarah Sanchez, every time we go into the foggy S's, she seems to be looking to be able to make a move down on the rider in front, but doesn't quite make any time. This is a move from Chloe Jones into second.
Just able to hold that tight line into McLean's. She's very good on the run in towards turn 7. Part of that is set up through turn 5, where she's a little bit more upright, trying to run across the inside to straight line that corner rather than being on the edge of the tyre, and it sets up the moves into 7. She did that yesterday a few times.
Jones 0.2 of a second faster than Herrera on that lap. She's the only rider who's remained in a 1:39.4.
You can see from Chloe as well on the run into turn 1, she is always wider on the entry than everyone else. She's trying to open up that corner to give her that chance. For her, she's focusing on what she needs to do. She knows this track well. There's a few places where your nuance really does matter. She's very fast down through Hollywood and into Craner curves. A lot of the other riders have said that when they followed her through there, they've really wanted to see what her data was saying.
And she carries all that momentum through this second sector, and she is looking very threatening indeed now. Can she get up the inside on Herrera and take the race lead as she did for second over Naylor?
Chloe's got it at the moment.
Prior, she didn't, but she's getting a good run through there and will look to make it the next lap, because this is where Herrera now is at her strength. That right-hander around Coppice and onto the back straight is where the number 6 has been gaining an advantage all throughout this weekend, started from free practice. We focus on the battle for 5th now, Ponziani and Butasol. Ponziani has edged out a 1/10 of a second over the number 17 behind, but they are still riding slower than the riders in front by around the tune of around about half a second per lap.
Yeah, let's see what Herrera is like in the entry down in towards the Melbourne Loop. Obviously, we saw her have her braking issues yesterday. Everyone's a little bit late
another
there.
one. Herrera late going into the Melbourne hairpin, and she's going to drop all the way down to 3rd. And Chloe Jones, for the very first time, leads a World WCR race.
Yes, Chloe!
Herrera will try to make a move up the inside of turn 12 on Beatrice Naylor. She's very late there. I don't think Naylor was expecting that, but Herrera moves into 2nd.
Off the pegs moment there for Jones as well at the front, just as she turned into Goddard. Goddard's off camber, very easy to do that. And Chloe Jones, as you said, Anthony, leading a race for the first time.
That's fantastic from Chloe Jones, and now this is the part of the track where she can try and edge out a bit of advantage. It will also give information though to Maria Herrera behind the Brit to see how she does in this first opening sector, which is where she is at her fastest. But Chloe Jones from Great Britain leading ahead of Herrera, leading ahead of Naylor, who I think was caught by surprise by that move into turn 12 from her championship contender. Actually, Naylor's dropped back into 4th position behind Sarah Sanchez now. We didn't see that move, and Chloe Jones coming under pressure from the number 6 now.
Yeah, and Jones, you can see there, able to carry the speed into McLean's, doesn't leave a door open. We'll see what she can do with the pressure of Maria Herrera behind her. And Herrera, we know that Herrera likes to lead from the front. She wants to be able to dictate the pace, but Chloe Jones looks like she's ready to do that as well and comfortable out at front.
But Herrera's very close now, and this is where you'd expect her to attack, although Sarah Sanchez from 3rd may contend, and Sarah Sanchez moving into 2nd. She isn't quite close enough to go against Chloe Jones, but that's what she does every single lap. She takes that inside line. It's very, very late to make the turn.
I love it from Chloe though, out in front on the 15 bike. She just sweeps across the front of Sarah Sanchez
and
to hold on through
back
the S's. In a bit
She's
too
got
hot
it.
into the Melbourne Loop, and Sarah Sanchez will come through, but Chloe is willing to get the gloves off and really just go bar to bar with everyone, and it's good to see.
Sarah Sanchez 4th at the start of lap 6. She leads now the number 64 for the first time this weekend as well. 4th in a championship. Oh, different lines from all the 4 riders in the lead there. And actually the group of Butasol and Ponziani have managed to take back around about half a second on this lap. It's still at 1.5 seconds between Naylor in 4th and Butasol in 5th. Further back down the field, we've got yellow flags out at the final corner. I think that was Avalon Lewis who's going down the number 21. Yes, it is her. Oh. She has crashed from that group that was fighting for 7th position. Good to see that she is okay. But that is her race.
That was a nasty one.
we focus on Linktree. We'll get a replay of that. This should be quite early.
Yeah, I'm just losing it there through Goddard's, and you can see that quite a bit in Goddard's. If you're on that tighter line, you do tend to see it where the track falls away and the riders get caught out. So it's a shame for Avalon. First time she's been back here in a few years, and it's been a tougher weekend than the opening couple of rounds were.
I wonder if something has happened in this lap in the leading group, because a few gaps now developing amongst the riders. Herrera's in second. It's 0.3 of a second to Sanchez, and Naylor's dropped half a second. Chloe Jones has dropped all the way down to 4th, so I feel like we might have missed something, but that has brought Buda Sol within less than a second of this group, and I wonder exactly where that was, because it was around about 1.5 seconds as we crossed the finish line. 1.9 seconds actually. It's dropped a 4 second this lap. Meanwhile, Herrera tries to make a move into the Melbourne hairpin, stops the bike, moves Sanchez out of the way, and she moves back into the lead of this race for the first time in a couple of laps.
Yeah, for Chloe Jones, she lost a lot of time in sector 2, so that's the run from the old hairpin up towards Coppice. So maybe got attacked on the run through the old hairpin and just caused her that momentum. But as you said, it's brought Buda Sol back into it. The gap had been under a second. They pulled it out by another 1/4 of a second in the last sector. We'll see what it is to come across the line. Buda Sol with her fastest lap of the race, and she's the second fastest rider on track.
Fastest rider is Maria Herrera with a 39.4 on the last lap. That's more similar to what we had in the first laps of this race. And the number 6 now starting to push and see if she can break away. The last couple of laps she has come under attack from a few of the riders behind. Look at Sarah Sanchez. Well, that was aggressive, Sarah Sanchez, but I think Maria Herrera also may have made a bit of a mistake there. She went very wide going into the old hairpin.
It's just the speed you carry down through Craner curves, and if you're able to put yourself in that position to attack into 4, you will have that speed and be alongside another rider. And Sanchez, she's done a good job the last few laps. Any chance she's had to try and make a move, she has done it, whether it was down into the S's, whether it's into the loop or into turn 4 in this lap.
You mentioned that Herrera is a little bit more relaxed now that she doesn't have her arch nemesis Nana Carrasco in the field, but I think Sarah Sanchez is a close second after the incidents that they had last year. She won't be happy to see anybody ahead of Herrera, but she'll be even less happy to see the number 64 taking the lead of this race. But that's Beatriz Naylor, who moves around the outside of Herrera into second position. Beatriz Naylor also starting to look aggressive at this stage of the race. It's only 5 laps. There's some 5 laps to go for race 2 here at Donington Park. Chloe Jones as well pushed to the outside from Herrera. Oh, Sarah Sanchez went in very, very deep into the Melbourne hairpin. It's all going on now. She does retake the lead of this race, but a lot of different lines around there, and a lot of the riders starting to struggle, particularly into the Melbourne hairpin. That's where we're seeing a lot of the mistakes so far in this race. And Lucy Buda Sol now is less than half a second behind these riders. So this 4-rider group has now become a 6-rider group for the final stage of this race. Naylor on the attack into Redgate, and she moves up into first ahead of Sarah Sanchez.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many moves into Redgate on the WCR bikes, but good move from Naylor to hit the front, and we're just past 2/3 race distance, so always important to get to this stage of the race. And then you know that if there is an incident, it will be full points awarded. That's why everyone's trying to attack now. Sanchez able to make that move into the old hairpin just like a lap ago.
Oh, it's all going on now. Look at Chloe Jones trying to get around the outside of Herrera. Herrera out of shape, Naylor out of shape, everybody out of shape in this group now. The last lap, Buda Sol and Ponziani boasted their best laps of the race. They are firmly part of this group now. We'll be interested to see what they can do, because it's one thing to be able to up your pace and maintain your pace in this class. It's another thing to be able to make the moves. And looking at these riders, it's going to be extraordinarily difficult to find the space.
And that's where Buda Sol on the 17 is quite interesting, because she qualified on the 5th row of the grid for the first 2 rounds. She's qualified 5th for this round, and she's had that speed all weekend.
And she is the one rider who hasn't been in this position so far. The number 17, she got a first top 5 finish yesterday, but was 4 seconds adrift of the leading pack. Now she is firmly part of it with just 4 laps to go. We go down once again into the Melbourne hairpin. A lot of riders have gone deep in different laps. So many different lines here, and Buda Sol moves into 4th ahead of Chloe Jones. For the first time, she is inside the top 4 in this race.
You can see those wide lines because they're trying to square it off and give themselves the exit, but they just leave the door open then as well. And it's always tricky in a class like this as well. The low power and everyone being on the same bike means that you're trying to find different ways to be able to use your racecraft. You're also trying to use these as a little bit of a sighting for what you'll do on the last lap.
Herrera had a look behind her, and now Beatriz Naylor has looked down the inside of Sarah Sanchez. Can she reclaim the lead? Sarah Sanchez might have the inside line. No, she doesn't. Beatriz Naylor in the lead of this race once again. They're starting to etch out a gap, these three riders, to the riders behind them. I was saying that Herrera had a little look behind, I think, to see which riders she might have had in this group. She wasn't expected. 6, Sarah Sanchez very, very deep into the old hairpin. She made that move on Herrera a couple of laps ago. She couldn't get it done here, and Beatriz Naylor now with the advantage coming around the 10th lap of this race 2 at Donington Park.
Yeah, 2.5 laps to go. Chloe Jones moves her way up into 4th spot now as well. This is when you have to make your moves, because when you get down to those last 2 laps, you're down to 8 kilometres, you're down to 24 corners, you're down to the last chance saloon very quickly. So you've got to get yourself in a position now to be in those top 3 spots. Chloe's got a bit of ground to make up over Maria Herrera in front of her now as well.
And she could see that Leon trio starting to etch that gap and get away. Sarah Sanchez into the foggy S's once again. She moves into the lead. Beatriz Naylor picked to the back of her bike, Maria Herrera as well. Chloe Jones still in 4th position, trying to close that gap, and all the different lines going to Melbourne hairpin. Sarah Sanchez remains in 1st position. Chloe Jones deep into turn 11, and she moves up into 3rd.
All of this is important for the championship right now. Naylor's done a good job of running up inside those top 2 positions for most of the second half of this race, as Herrera attacks down into Goddard to get back up into 3rd. But at the back of the group, Roberto Ponziani's made no impression on anyone really at any stage in this. This is an opportunity for Sanchez to take control of that battle for 3rd in the championship, and Sanchez leading with 2 laps to go.
It does seem like Ponziani has the pace, but she isn't quite able to move close enough, as is Lucy Budisol. They have remained at the back of that group. By the way, Sanchez taking a more defensive line there against Naylor. She'd been attacked by number 36 last couple of laps. This time she remains in 1st, going through this first sector of Donington Park.
Yeah, trying to be a little bit different on the line down through Craner, but it's all about just being flat out through that section on these bikes and carrying that speed, and that's what we're seeing there from the 15 of Chloe Jones, trying to roll the outside line, and we'll see if she's able to attack into 7.
Jessica Howden is out of the race, though. That's been confirmed by the race control stewards. That is a great shame. Meantime, though, we are still getting in this year's. Jessica's gone down on the deck. So Sarah Sanchez, oh, she's dropped it coming mid-corner. Sanchez, Beatrix Naylor, Maria Herrera. Are we about to see that? But Chloe Jones in the mix as well. Throw in Lucy Budisol and Roberta Ponziani. Throw in also 6 riders. It will be 1 lap to go here at Donington Park. Can any of them find a way through? It's yellow flags at turns 1 and 2. So that's red gate. That could be causing a problem. Just coming through on the inside line. Is that Roberta Ponziani trying to go through? Maria Herrera holding on for 3rd. 1 more lap then coming up here at Donington Park for the WCR Championship in what's been a mad race so far. 1 more to go. Down the brakes. Beatrix Naylor has done a 1:39.270, fastest lap so far of anybody at the line. Sarah Sanchez still in 2nd position. It'll be close and very tight once again, but the results are there. They are doing well, and it is going to be interesting to see who's going to be where. 2 weeks' time, we're running again here for the WCR Championships. It's not all going to be over in one. Just finding an inside line. Don't forget, we've got the World Superbike race just after this, in about an hour. After the MotoGP. It's nice they've been packed in today. Has been one of the smoothest so far. Final sector. Into the chicane. Sarah Sanchez is going to go for the lead against Beatrix Naylor. Sanchez is going to have it. She's got a good exit. Chloe Jones is waiting in the background as well in case this all goes wrong. Into the hairpin we go, and everybody is launching up the inside line to try and make a move go. Jones goes in too deep. She's going to lose that 3rd position. She's taken out. She's taken out by Maria Herrera. Unbelievable. As they come through into the chicane, Beatrix Naylor will win over the line, and she's done it. Beatrix Naylor wins finally. Sarah Sanchez 2nd. Maria Herrera 3rd. third. But Beatrix Naylor wins a WCR race.
Fortunate end to the weekend for the number 15, and it's Lucy Boudessal and Roberta Ponziani, after all that going on, who close out our top 5.
Chloe's got herself rejoined. She's just in front of Mal Dobbs there as she comes across the line. So it's P11 there for Chloe, and there'll be frustration in that. That's one of those situations you're trying to make your move down the inside into the loop, and contact happens on the exit. There's 2 lines into one. Have a look at the 15. She's in a little bit deep trying to make the move, and then there's just contact there, and fairly typical incident really, and just one of those things everyone's trying to fight for their podium position.
That's unfortunate. We'll wait to see if there's a penalty. We'll bring that up to you later on as well. Well, my thanks to you all at home for covering and company, but we will be back shortly with the MotoGP action from Donington Park. What a race. We'll see you again shortly. Take care. Bye-bye.